What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one tonight. We are previewing the primetime matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. That will be happening tomorrow night. I will be live on this channel at 7:45, about 35 minutes before the game, before kickoff, and I'll be opening it up to you guys. We'll do a little bit of a pregame show, et cetera, et cetera. So before we get into everything in terms of the usual pregame show, I want to talk about Tua a little bit, because I know a lot of people um are formulating opinions on whether they think he'll play tomorrow, whether they think he won't. Now, my gut is he will play tomorrow. And my gut is, now I'm going to give my score prediction tonight based on Brissett's playing, but my gut tells me that Tua is actually going to play. So, yeah, I've checked in with a couple of people, and they've said me that they think, it could go either way, et cetera, et cetera. I personally think he's going to play tomorrow. He wanted to get out there last week. He couldn't get out there. They wouldn't let him out there. I think he's I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to hold him off, and I'm gonna show you why. So, this is what Cam Wolf actually had to say today regarding the whole thing. So let's hear what Cam Wolf has to say about this. Let me bring that up right here. All right.
Are finishing up their walkthrough at the facility right across the street. And Tua did throw today, but I'm told there's no final determination yet on who the starter will be Thursday versus the Ravens. Now, look, one thing has been made clear to me. The Dolphins want Tua to play. They want to continue his development, and they want to continue their evaluation of him in what would be a very important last 8 games of the season. Tua wants to play. He wanted to play last week, but they do want to see if the grip in his fingers improves. They've worked him out. He's thrown well. I've seen him throw 20-yard passes, and it's looked good at times, but they want to make sure that Thursday he can throw every throw. He can keep on the grip if he gets hit, and that he can make accurate passes. One element that I think may actually help him is that Dolphins play caller George Godsey said this week that he's probably going to eliminate a lot of the plays that require the quarterback to hold on to the ball for a while, because they did that Sunday and it did not go well. The offensive line has struggled tremendously this year, giving up more pressures than any other unit. So maybe a limited Tua can work in a short, quick-based offense. It's clear that Tua, when healthy, is the best quarterback for this unit. Last Sunday, they decided that a limited Tua wasn't better than a healthy Jacoby. 4 days is a short amount of time to change that, but they will take this up to game time to give a Tua a shot to prove maybe he can go.
Okay, so you basically hear what they're talking about now. Godsey, they're talking about how Godsey was asked about the pressures and those plays where you got to hold the ball on for the long developing routes. If you're going to take those out, like Godsey has talked about, then it don't matter if you got Tua in there, because their whole concern about Tua is throwing the ball beyond 20 yards right now. So, I mean, they're telling you right there, we're not going to test the top of defenses if we got to hold the ball too long. We're going to take those plays out this week. So they're basically telling you we might just do a lot of short and intermediate stuff. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If it's going to be short and intermediate stuff, then I think Tua is going to go. I think that's what's going to happen. And you saw what he said earlier on in that clip. He's been told the Dolphins wanted to play so they can continue their evaluation. Now, I think we can all pretty much agree that in terms of their evaluation compared to Watson, they're out on Tua if Watson's available. So we already know that part of the evaluation is taken care of. But I personally think, he wanted to go last Sunday. I don't know. Yeah, checking out Ravens defense said thank you for the info loading the box. Exactly, right? Um I'm just saying. I got a feeling Tua plays tomorrow. He tried to go last weekend. They wouldn't let him. I'm gonna say that he's gonna go. So I just got a feeling that's why they're playing this out. I think they would have announced him out. And you'll see from the injury report they haven't done that. They don't even have him listed as doubtful. He was listed as questionable. That tells me there's a legitimate chance that he could be starting. If he was doubtful, you know, what people are worrying about isn't lining up with what the injury report is looking at. If he was really that not good to go, they'd probably have him listed as doubtful. So I think he's going to play. I mean, I hope he. My gut tells me he's going to play, and that's also because my gut can't stay down any longer watching Jacoby Brissett run an offense in Miami. But I personally think he's going to play. I don't think this is going to be a game that he misses. I just got a feeling. Prime time, he's going to try and go. Hey, you know what? Because we're getting to the point where, listen, if the kid wants to go, if the kid can grip the football decently, you got 8 games left. If you're going to get Watson, you might as well see what you have with Tua. I like, what do we really have to lose at this point? Like, what do we really have to lose at this point? So I just, and again, I go back to what I said last weekend. If he was this, if there was this big of a doubt of whether he can throw as deep as they're claiming or all this kind of jazz, why is he even active? If Brissett goes down, I don't. If you're that worried about him ball security, being able to grip the football, if you're that worried about him, with this offensive line, something could happen to Jacoby Brissett. I'd rather show me what Jake Delgada's got. You know, like what do we have to lose in the end? Anyways, we're out of the playoffs here. Like I don't understand. I don't get it. Shout out to Pete for the $4.99 super sticker. Even though Pete, I see you on other platforms talking your ish. I just don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like you got literally nothing to lose. You know, like so I think he's gonna start. You know, because listen, here's the thing. For some of you that believe, because I don't believe they're sabotaging Tua. I know some people say that they think that, I just think it's inept coaching and bad use of resources have caught up. Pete, I ain't going on Larry's show anytime soon. That thing has been a mess these past couple weeks, bro. Jeez, y'all are wilding out over there. Plus, I've been super busy. That's why I haven't gone on. Usually, I try to get in on Larry's show on a Saturday night when the wife goes to bed or where I got some free time, and it's just been crazy lately. Anyways, yeah, I don't believe. Like, listen, I don't believe Flores or any of these guys are sabotaging the situation because if that were to ever get out and substantial, like Flores and all these guys would never work in the NFL again. So I don't believe that. And here's the thing. If you're really out on Tua, if you really hate Tua, isn't this the game to throw him to the Wolves to, even with an injured finger, and say, see, he's not the guy. This is the game where you, with an injured finger, you could let the Ravens chew him apart. I'm just saying, like, if you were really trying to sabotage the kid, or you're really, this is the game you throw him out, isn't it? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is this not the game you throw him to the Wolves? Like, I'm just saying. This is where you throw him to the Wolves. Is the Baltimore Ravens with a hand injury, an injury on his throwing hand? Isn't it? Like, if you really want to say, if you're really that out on Tua, if you're the coaching staff, and you want to prove the point that we need to get someone else, whether it's Watson, Rodgers, whomever in the offseason, isn't this the game to show, to put him out in prime time so the national media and everyone can see him fall on his face? I'm just saying, this would be the game, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. This would be the game to further your narrative that he's not the guy and we drafted the wrong guy. Have him get killed by the defense, have the Ravens blow us out. Even if they put up 25 because our offense can't do anything. This is the game. There's no way. If you're out on the kid, why would you be protecting the kid? This is what doesn't make any sense to me. If you're out on the kid, why are you protecting the kid? Why are you protecting the asset? Doesn't make sense. So I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play. G-Firm 456, as long as I've been a Fins fan every year, we've had a marquee upset. Hopefully tomorrow goes down. Bro, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I know Pete's here, and I know he's going to push back. I think Tua is the only way I'll give you keys to the game I think you can be competitive with, and they don't involve Tua technically. But I think Tua, if we got a chance at an upset and like a snowball's chance in hell, you need Tua playing. I'm sorry, you need Tua playing. Tua would have made that throw to Merritt last week, and he would have been gone. Like, there's throws last week Tua would have made, and that, I don't think he would have thrown that Waddle interception. So, because we show Brissett had a read up front, on a high-low concept up front, and he overlooked it. So I think for us to say, I think we're going to lose either way. But for us to be competitive or stand a chance, I think Tua needs to play. The problem with Jacoby is he holds the ball too long. With this offensive line, he holds the ball way too long. Like, honestly, I know we're ripping on them for saying, you're not going to test the top of the defense. You're just going to go short. But I get it. I get why their offense is so condensed this year. It's because of the offensive line. It's not because Tua can't throw a deep ball. Because Tua can throw just as far as Jacoby. Jacoby isn't throwing 60-yard bombs out here, okay? The problem is, why do you think Jacoby checks down a lot too? It's because the offensive line is so bad right now. Like, so bad. Guys, we're on pace to have the second most pressures allowed by an offensive line in the last 16 years. The only other team would be the 2016 Chargers, and we're on pace to finish 10 less pressures than them. We have the highest pressure rate we've ever allowed in the past 16 years as well. Like, it's not good right now. It doesn't matter if it's Jacoby or Tua. It doesn't matter. Like, that's why they want Watson. They want someone that can run for his life, and because this O-line's so underdeveloped. Plus, they can't develop the quarterback themselves. So that's like, you need, the only way you can make things happen behind this offensive line is with a super athletic quarterback right now. This is a pocket. Jacoby Brissett's a pocket quarterback. This is a pocket quarterback's worst nightmare, this offensive line. And Tua is mildly athletic pocket quarterback. He's a more athletic version. Like, he's a slightly, I don't know how to say this. He's like he's a decently athletic pocket quarterback. Let's put it that way. Decently athletic. And even it's a nightmare for him. And you see how much pressure he evades. Second highest pressure evasion percentage last year was held by Tua Tagovailoa. Like, he evades sacks. And Brissett evades sacks too. Like, because Brissett, though he moves like molasses, he is smart in terms of how he tries to move and get out. He's just not very fast, right? He's stiffer than a board when he runs. That's his thing, but he's not an idiot when it comes to like he doesn't have pocket presence like Tua has. He can't feel the pocket like Tua does, but at the same time, he's not an idiot. Like he's decent at those things. So, but even he struggles with this offensive line because it goes back to what Richmond Webb told me, guys. This is what Richmond Webb told me. Listen, when you have an offensive line, usually you have a weak link, so you know where the pressure is going to come from. So if it's your left tackle, you have an extra eyes in the back, set of eyes in the back of your head. You're just more aware, and acute to that area for pressure coming. The problem with where we're at right now, with guys like Eichenberg and Davis and Jackson leading the NFL, tied in a three-way tie for pressures allowed each, you don't know where it's coming from. Whether you're Jacoby, whether you're Tua, whether you'd be Watson, that's the thing. You wouldn't know where the pressure's coming from. So you can't get comfortable. You can't get into a rhythm. Like if you do it, we're averaging about 26 pressures allowed per game right now. We're dropping back around 40 times. So like I said, that means there's only about 14 times where there's a clean pocket. For guys like Jacoby and guys like Tua, when you're a pocket passer, you need that clean pocket to start to get into your rhythm. Now, when you're an improviser who can get out and make plays on the run and outside of the pocket, yes, you can create a rhythm for yourself just by moving around. The thing is, this isn't built for a pocket quarterback right now. That's the problem. Yeah, exactly, Ronnie. The pressures are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Fred, $4.99. Tua set up for failure. I want to see one play design I like. Man, you know what, Fred? Go back and watch the All-22. I love that design they had to get Waddle on that deep crosser route. They pulled the coverage with Merritt on the go route, had Waddle come deep on the crosser route. Brissett found him. I like that play design. That was a good play design. There's good designs in there, but there's also designs that make you scratch your head and go, "What the hell are you guys doing? Why are these receivers congested? Why are these routes congested over here? Why are you running trips bunch but no one's getting space out of it?" You know what I mean? Those trips bunch should be manufacturing space. Why aren't we manufacturing space? You saw they ran a mesh concept out of the trips bunch, and Smythe got shot, because he's inside the 5-yard. He got jammed by the DB, and he lost his balance, and he threw off the space they were going to create with Waddle. It's just not going our way right now. Play designs and stuff. There's stuff. Here's another thing. I don't know if you guys saw it today too, but Jason from Over the Cap tweeted out. You know what? Let me show you guys this quickly before we keep going here. I want to show you guys this so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so because before we get into everything, because this is the reality of things, guys. This is you are what you pay for. You get what you pay for. Okay, and here's what's going on right now. So this is from Jason Over the Cap, and he said the lowest spenders on the offensive line. Dude, the Dolphins are number 2. The Dolphins only spend $20 million on their offensive line. And obviously, it's because they have a lot of rookie contracts. Now, when you're going to do that, you need to hit on those rookies because that's how you're allocating your resources. When you don't hit on that, you got a serious problem. Now it looks like you're underspending, right? And then on the flip side, this is the life as a Dolphin fan. I want people to put this in perspective. We spend draft capital, so we spend the second lowest amount of money on the offensive line, and we get guys who can't produce consistently and should be off the field on the bench, the majority of them. We spend the second most amount of money in the NFL on our wide receiving corps, and we get guys who can't stay on the field because they can't stay healthy, so they can't produce consistently. Look at second highest spending in receiving core, second lowest spending in offensive line, and you're getting almost a same result in a way. That's just the life of a Dolphins fan right now. Like nothing is working this season. I truly think this season was just doomed and cursed from the distractions in the offseason, the X stuff, the Tua stuff, the Watson stuff. They just wait, and then you got a whole bunch of inexperienced coaches. You got inexperienced players. There's no experienced guys to lean on, and the experienced guys that you do have to lean on aren't performing right now. DVP can't stay on the field. Jesse Davis is the worst, so who's gonna lean on him on the offensive line? No one, right? There's just Fuller, another veteran. He can't see the field. There's just no one offensively. They got no coaches offensively to lean on right now. It's just an ugly situation, and you are what you pay. Just we are what we pay for. I don't know what else to say. It's crazy, man. It's just whether we spend low and invest draft resources or whether we spend high, the wide receiver position and the offensive line are a perfect example of them trying two different formulas and it's not working. Don't know what to say. That's either a lot of bad luck or bad evaluations, bad scouting has led into bad usage of resources. I don't know, but man, we can't win. I don't know what to say. So that's tough to see, man. Like, that is tough to see. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. If you'd like to donate, paypal.me/Finside. Become a Patreon, patreon.com/Finside the NFL. Insider info news, always updated. And then hit the join button to become a YouTube channel member right down below. Besides subscribe, and make sure those bells are turned on so you get all notifications whenever I go live or whenever I drop content for y'all. All right, enough of the rambling. Let's get into it because I am on a strict schedule tonight. Thanks to the Dolphins having a Thursday night game. I didn't know it'd be like this, but now I have to do this show. Then after, I'm going to go record the finish line. Then after that, I got to record Fin Too Deep with Neil Driscoll. So I got a whole bunch of Dolphins content I got to record tonight. So we got a whole bunch going on. So let's get rolling into it because I want to see if I can get you guys on here for at least a little bit. I have until about 9:30. Then I got to get out of here. Okay, so this game tomorrow night. Let's start off with what the weather's going to look like for all you lucky people that are going to, and I actually am not being sarcastic. You are lucky that you're going to be going to get to see a primetime game at the Rock tomorrow night. I am, you know, so bitter everything went down and the family got sick and I wasn't able to come out. I mean, it is what it is, but wish I would have been able to come out there even for that Texas game. I know I wouldn't have wanted to see Jacoby Brissett, but it would have been nice just to see a Dolphins win live and in person. But my kids are still sick too, so going on over a week now. All right, so I kick off. The temperature 76 degrees. It's going to feel like 78. Humidity is going to be at 100%. And it's going to be humid and overcast, and you got a 15 chance of precipitation. That precipitation probability is going to go down to about 11%. Now there's going to be a ton of cloud cover, 100% cloud cover. And the temperature is going to stay around the same again from that 76 to 75 range. It's going to feel like 77 all the way up to 78. It's going to be there's going to be a breeze in the air clearly with 7 miles coming out of the east in terms of the east southeast with the wind. So it's going to be an overcast, humid night in Miami. So it's going to be interested to see how it goes, man. There is possible drizzle. It's man, I hope we pull this out. Even though I know we all know we're going to lose. Man, I want this win. I want this win more than I want either one of those Buffalo. And you all know the Buffalo Bills are the team I hate the most out of the AFC East. I want this win. I don't care if it's Jacoby or Tua. I want this win, man. I really want this win. I I know all of us fans have stuck around and players don't stick around with these teams as long as we do, but I ain't forgot about the shellacking they gave us a couple years ago. I haven't forgotten the slightest. I want this win, man. I really, really do. Don't care who the quarterback is. Just give me that win. Just give me the win. Um, all right. Now, when we look at how the teams stack up, how they rank offensively, defensively, this is what it looks like. Offensively, the Dolphins are 30th in yards per game. They're averaging 315.9 yards per game. Baltimore is second. Baltimore averages 442.6 yards per game. Good God Almighty. Now, passing yards, the Dolphins, they're 23rd. They about 222.3, so they actually went down last game. Um, Baltimore, they're eighth. They're averaging 266.2 yards per game passing. The Dolphins are officially dead last in rushing yards per game as a rushing offense, 32nd, averaging 75.1 yards per game. Remember, we were up over 80, but the last two games have dropped us right down. Well, guess what? We're going against the number one rushing offense in the NFL. That is the Baltimore Ravens. They're averaging 161.6 yards per game. Points per game, the Baltimore Ravens are averaging 27.6. They're seventh in the NFL. The Dolphins are 28th, averaging 17.2. And third down percentage, Baltimore's 23rd, 37% they convert at. The Dolphins are 12th in the NFL with a 42.3 conversion rate. Defensively, this is where it gets real ugly for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are allowing 407.7 yards per game, which is 30th in the NFL. Baltimore is allowing 388.4 yards per game, which is 22nd. Um, Now, passing yards. The Dolphins have the 30th passing defense in the NFL, but the Ravens have the 31st. This is going to be a battle of who's worse in the secondary, clearly, because Miami is allowing 280.9 yards per game. And Baltimore is allowing 282.5 yards per game. Now, Baltimore, for as good as they are rushing the football offensively, they are just as good stopping the run defensively. They're the fifth best rushing defense, 91.8 yards per game allowed. So that tells me we're going to have a real problem running the football, especially if we look like any way we look like last week with blocking. Gaskin, first time he gets 20 carries and he gets 34 yards. Jesus. Now the Dolphins are 17th. They allow 111 yards per game rushing. Now 26.9 points per game is 27th best in the NFL for the Miami defense, while Baltimore's allowing 24.4 points per game, which is 21st. And then again, we have the 31st third down defense. It's still bad. 48 point. At least it's down below 50. Good God. Last week it was 50 heading in. So 48.8% third down percentage completion rate allowed by Miami, while Baltimore allows 33%. So only a third of third downs against Baltimore get converted, which is third in the NFL. So, you know, they're having issues on defensively, but what's keeping them afloat is their rush defense is so good. Their running defense is so good. They make teams one dimensional. And this is why our chances are not great if we don't run the ball tomorrow. Good luck to us. Good luck to us. Okay. The injury report for tomorrow is as follows. So one of the best special teamers quietly for the Dolphins this year has been Elijah Campbell, and he's been limited all week and he's questionable. Tua Tagovailoa limited all week. He's questionable. Jerome Baker, Brandon Jones, they are full goes. Greg Mask was placed on IR today, and Cameron Tom was elevated and signed to the roster. So Reeder and Cameron Tom are the centers on the team right now. So Mask is going to miss at least the next 3 games with Dieter out as well. You go look at the Baltimore Ravens. Latavius Murray is doubtful. You know, Sammy Watkins is questionable, but Marquise Brown, not a lot of big names that are going to be possibly out for them. Makari might be out for them. He's doubtful, obviously. Brandon Williams is questionable. Nick Boyle's questionable, but they got Andrews. What do they care, right? So, obviously, the biggest names, Marquise Brown, he looks good to go. Latavius Murray, he's doubtful. And Sammy Watkins is questionable, but he was a full participant today. So, Sammy Watkins will probably be good to go. So, it's going to be a tough outlook because you know what the thing is, guys? Quietly, Marquise Brown has been actually quite good this year. He has over 600 yards receiving, so he's been quietly quite good for them. So, all right, let's get into my keys to victory, or at least to be competitive this week for the Dolphins. And let's start. You know what? Let's start with the offense. Um, we're gonna start off with the offensive keys to victory for the Dolphins, and they are as follows: air it out against the second worst passing defense in the NFL. Guys, listen, I get they might be worried because of the pass rush, but this is the second worst passing defense in the NFL. I mean, guys, they don't have very much back there now, be it their safeties, Brandon Stevens, Deshaun Elliott, and Chuck Clark. They're all pretty good. But when you go look at the corner room right now, guys, Marlon Humphrey is struggling this year. Okay. Tavon Young, you saw he's on the injury report. Um, Anthony Everett is their other best corner here. And then they got Jimmy Smith as well. They are beat up, and Marlon Humphrey looks like he's regressed this year. So it's there. Okay. The chances are going to be there. It's just going to come into executing one of the other keys on this, but air it out. You're going to have chances. Air it out doesn't mean I got to see 40-yard passes. Go beyond 20, the 20 to 25 area. It's going to be there. Waddle should get open. Merritt was getting open. Now he had the bad drop. He had the nice catch, but he had that bad drop on the slant. Then he had the underthrow that Jacoby made, but he had the coverage beat. So air it out. There's going to be big plays, I think, available against the secondary if the offensive line does their job, and we'll get to that in a second. You're going to have to keep third down short. Like we went over, this is the number 3 third down defense in the NFL we are facing. They only allow a 33% clip to be converted at. Do yourself the best favor by trying to get as many third and shorts as possible. You can convert if you keep it to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. So when you start getting to the 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, this offense isn't built to continuously convert at those levels. So you got to keep your third down short. That is going to be a necessity to try and stay competitive, because obviously by staying competitive, you want to keep the ball in your hands so you keep the Ravens off the field. You keep them off the field, they can't do as much damage as they want to. And then obviously the offensive line has to slow down Owe, Campbell, and Justin Houston. Listen, here's the reality of the situation as it stands, my friends. Okay, Odafe Owe has produced 24 pressures. Calais Campbell, 21 pressures. Justin Houston, 20 pressures. Okay, that's 65 pressures between those 3 guys through the first 9 weeks. You're going to have to find a way to slow them down, because if you slow them down, that's going to let you expose key 1, which is the secondary, because we're going to need time for those routes to develop. Owe is obviously the number 1 edge player. Him, Azeez Ojulari, and Jalen Phillips are the top 3 edge players out of this draft class so far. Owe holds a slight lead over Ojulari and Phillips in multiple different categories. 24 pressures, that's number 1. 16 hurries, that's number 1. And then quarterback hits, he's number 1 in that. Now, Ojulari is number 1 in sacks. Owe is not. Owe has 3 up until this point, I believe. So you're gonna have to. You're gonna. It's gonna be paramount that you stop, or at least slow down these 3 guys so you can make stuff happen offensively. Gonna have to convert third downs. You're gonna have to slow down these three guys, and you're going to have to air it out if you do slow them down. So those are my offensive keys to victory because, again, if you keep third down short, if you slow down that offensive line and you air it out, that means you're going to be having the ball quite a bit. You got to keep Lamar off the field. Offense has to do its part. Notice how I didn't put running game in there because we're going against one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL. And with the way we're running the football, I'm not expecting a miracle tomorrow. Let's start being honest with ourselves here, okay? So the defensive keys are as follows. Lamar is going to make big plays. Limit the big ones. He's going to make plays. Limit the big ones. Limit the big plays by Lamar. He's going to be dangerous with his feet. He can throw. Don't give him easy stuff. I don't want to see Marquise Brown blowing the top of our secondary off. Make him, if he's going to make plays against you, make him work for them. Make it tough on him. That zero blitz. Try to throw disguise stuff at him. Make it difficult for Lamar tomorrow. Like, I'm sorry. Do not let this guy run amok and embarrass his organization again. Do not. I'm not trying to see Lamar Jackson throw for over 200 and rush for over 100. I'm not trying to see us get added to that. And now another one here. My key number 2, expose Alejandro Villanueva. Now, Alejandro Villanueva, they signed him as a right tackle, but then Ronnie Stanley went down, and they had to move Villanueva to left tackle, and he has struggled. We talk about Eichenberg, Davis, and of course, Austin Jackson being in three-way tie for the most pressures allowed, 37 each. Well, Villanueva has allowed 32 pressures. You saw last week, and you saw in my Jalen Phillips film study, and even you go back to my prospect preview, I said I want to see Phillips and Ogba lined up next to each other. They did it this past week. We showed it on the film breakdown yesterday. We were a nightmare when we did that. In the film study with Jalen Phillips, I showed you how they liked lining up Javon Holland next to Phillips and blitzing him. They did that this past weekend. They got success. Attack Villanueva. Attack him. This is the blind side. If you're going to have a chance of getting Lamar in the backfield, the blind side is how you're going to have a chance. Attack him. Okay? I mean, he allowed 8 pressures against Detroit this year. He's kind of stabilized over the past couple weeks. But if you allow 8 pressures against Detroit, I know I can create pressure on you. Let that boy Jalen Phillips feast. And then limit their running backs from being impactful on chunk plays. Guys, you want the reality of the situation when you look at their offense? Everyone thinks, oh, it's only Lamar Jackson. Well, guess what? Devontae Freeman is averaging 5.7 yards per attempt for them right now. Tyson Williams averaging 5.5 yards per attempt. With their gimmick plays with Marquise Brown and Devin Duvernay averaging 5 yards per attempt. They know how to run the football, not just with Lamar Jackson. You cannot allow the running backs to be just as big of a threat to you as Lamar Jackson is. If that happens, this thing's going to get out of hand. You literally need to put the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands and have him beat you, which he probably will. But you'd rather be beat like that than have Lamar beat you, their running backs beat you, you lose in the trenches. So, and you know what? Here's the thing. Now, is he as fast as Lamar Jackson? Hell no. But he takes damn good angles and he's pretty fast for his size. Jalen Phillips, this is your chance to make an impact play. Because I think you're one of the rare guys on that front seven of the Dolphins that can make something happen even if Lamar gets outside the pocket. He's smart enough. He takes great angles. We cannot allow 2019. I know there's still some guys here from 2019. Remember what they did to you in 2019 and play with a vengeance, man. And I'm not even asking for a win because we all know that is not likely. But please be competitive and keep it respectable. Got to keep it respectable. All right. Now, what's my matchup to watch? Well, does involve Lamar Jackson, but it's not your usual quarterback versus quarterback. My matchup to watch is quite simple. It is Lamar Jackson against Flores and Boyer. Why, might you add? Have they figured out how to beat this guy? They're the defensive, Flores is a defensive genius. Boyer is his protege. How the defensive whizzes figured out how they're going to contain Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Rodney, we got co-defensive coordinators, basically. Have they figured out how they're going to contain this guy? Are they going to confuse him with the zero blitz? Are they going to send him are they going to use the Ruby package at a high level and a successful level tomorrow? Have they figured out how to beat Lamar Jackson? That is the question. You got to force him into mistakes that you got to take advantage of offensively. But it's going to be interesting. This is going to be have we figured out, is Lamar Jackson going to feast on us like he did back in 2019? Have they figured him out? Because if you figure out Lamar Jackson, you can figure out the Baltimore Ravens and get a win. Make it a trap game for the Ravens, guys. All right, here's the deal. I am going to give you my prediction. Ravens 38, Dolphins 23. And this is based off me thinking, I actually originally added 38-13. Okay. But this is the median where it was 38-13 based off of if Brissett starts. I'm finding a middle ground between if Brissett or Tua starts, because if Tua starts, I believe this game is somewhere more in the range of 38-31. But I found the median between both of them, so I'll go 38-23 is the median, and we'll go I was get 38-33 was going to be my selection with Tua. 38-13 was my selection with Brissett. So there's a difference of 20 points. So I cut it in half and threw it on top. So 38-23 is my prediction that the Ravens are going to get a victory. I think it's going to be close for a little bit, and they're going to pull away on us. That's what I think is going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope we win. I want this win more than the Buffalo wins, because I remember what happened in 2019. That was embarrassing. Shay Dolphins says 34-30 Dolphins. Wow. Oh, man. 34-30. Pete says 38-31 Miami with Brissett. Crypto says 47-9 Ravens. Oh my God. 28-25 Dolphins, says Raphael. Yo, Crypto, I thought we were supposed to win the next 9 games, bro. What do you mean we're losing that badly, bro? Come on, usually you're the most positive one. Now it looks like you're in the hole. Wow, no faith. Some of these scores, okay, so here you go. Duke 21-17 with Tua Dolphins win. Wow. 35-17 Ravens, says CT. I'm going to drop that link for you guys here. Man. Dawn says we shocked the world 30-28. Man, y'all are. Regil, if Tua plays, 35-30 Ravens with Brissett 35-10. Anthony, 34-14 Dolphins. Godson 02, 50-2 to the Ravens. At least thanks for giving us the safety, bro. Appreciate it. J Fam, 1,000-3 Ravens. And J Fam, I believe, is a Dolphins fan. Brian, if Brissett 0-50 Ravens, well, here it comes. 21-28 Dolphins, says Ted. 33-20 says Isaac. Big Drips got faith. He says 27-17 fins up. Yeah. Jesus. I'm just gonna bring everyone up at once here so I can so we can just hop right into it. What's up, guys?
Chilling.
Hey.
Some of y'all mofos is wild, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, whatever. We'll see
Hold
what
on a
happens.
38-17. Richard, I'm gonna guess you said the Ravens. Yo, Crypto, where is this man at? Digging a grave? 9-42. Baltimore, says Freddie.
Knock it down,
28-27.
For tomorrow.
27 to a fourth quarter game winning drive. 77-3 Ravens. 27-26 Dolphins to a Hail Mary. 35-21 Ravens. My favorite, my number one guy in the chat, Ali Selassie, says 20-26 Dolphins in OT. And Jock reminds us all, stop being scared of the Ravens. Caca!
Well, once our team can prove that we can stop them, then maybe we'll stop being afraid of them.
And it's not. I mean, it's not even really being scared. It's just,
getting our asses.
No matter
to us.
the way I see it is no matter how you slice this cake or whatever, like it's pretty bad. I mean, you can look at historically, like I think the last 3 games it was a score margin of like 136-16 or something like that. Like they just have our number, bro. Like, and it's not good things.
What's crazy is this team is playing the way it's playing at, yet it's probably one of the more talented teams that we're going to field against the Ravens in the last 3 or 4 times we faced them.
We always play the Ravens at the right. They always play us at the right time when we dysfunctional, man. Why didn't you play this last year, man?
The only hope I got
They still would have whooped
is
our ass last
that
year.
that this is a trap game. That's the only hope you can have is that they play down to our level and we somehow sneak it out. That's the only hope anyone has.
Look, I don't really like the all you have to have is an elite quarterback philosophy in general, but I will say this: Lamar Jackson. Look, the Ravens, there's been a number of times this season because I've been watching all the games of the teams that we play to do my scouting report videos, and they have been, down pretty significantly in a number of games, and they just find a way, man. Like,
come back. Yeah, they reel off like 20-something in a row.
It's because they have an explosive offense. That's why.
Yeah. Well, and Lamar Jackson,
20 on. It's like the Chiefs. They can hang 21 on you on any given quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
The blink of an eye, they can
Lamar
score
Jackson
quick.
is a unique threat to deal with. So,
JC Kang says 42-40 Dolphins. Tua throws 4 TDs. How about that narrative change? One can dream.
One can dream, my friend.
6-7 Ravens because Sanders misses a field goal. I hope I'm not live reacting to a 6-7 game, bro. Because
especially if it's a loss. I mean, if we actually
and Jacoby's playing,
if we ended up winning that game though,
6-7, but that means Tucker would have to miss the game-winning field goal if we end up winning in that fashion.
Not necessarily.
Then that ain't happening.
Not necessarily. Sanders just has to make it instead of miss it. So in that scenario, and then
but he said 7-6. Yeah.
No, I know, but then it would be 9-7, and I could be okay with that. Kind of like the Jags took out the Bills. I'd be all right with that. I mean, sort of all right with that because it would be gross and ugly, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Tucker ain't missing too many field goals. They cross the 50, they're a threat to score.
Not even, bro. He can kick 60 yards out. Like, it's
Omar, the only one that makes sense to spy him is Baker, but the problem is he's not up here. He's not where he needs to be. The ideal guy, if he was caught up and fully acclimated to the NFL, would actually be Jalen Phillips. Brian Terry, we can't contain Josh Allen. What makes people think they can contain Lamar Jackson? Hey, crazier things have happened, but you make a good point.
We can hope and dream.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said he's a unique.
Some linebackers don't have to have out-of-body experience.
Lamar Jackson could arrive to Hard Rock tomorrow, and he could have a game where he's his own worst enemy. I don't know.
I mean,
anything can happen.
He just reached.
Which Josh Allen was he talking about?
The quarterback.
No, yeah.
I mean, I can't remember who the company is that he joined, but I mean, he just joined some pretty elite company, reaching 2,000 over 2,000 yards and 600 rushing yards to this point in the season, to like the first 9 games of a season. Yeah, he's been improving his passing game too.
I think he's closing in for the record. He's either broken or closing in on the record for the most 200-yard passing and 100+ yard rushing games too. I know he's closing in on that.
I mean,
who's got the record, Vic or Cunningham?
That's the scary thing about
I forget.
Is it Randall Cunningham?
I think it might be Vic.
I was gonna say
it's either Vic or Cunningham. Yeah,
I think it's Vic.
Well, that was the point I was trying to make earlier, though, is with our defense, again, everybody wants to say, if they play like last year, we'll be successful. But we even proved last year that we struggled against rushing quarterbacks. And until they prove to us they can stop that, we're going to be in that same cycle.
This is what I do. Okay, shout out to Nicholas. Javon Holland should eat this game. Like you guys have seen me pointed out in film breakdowns, whether it's Tua or whether it's the Jalen Phillips one, that Ruby package, that might be a way you can spy too. You can put one of those safeties in the box with the Brandon Jones, or you can drop Javon Holland down and they can spy Lamar Jackson. Javon Holland might be the Javon Holland sideline to spyline speed. He's faster than Baker, bro.
I know he's faster than Baker, but is that still fast enough to catch Jackson? That's the question.
That's true. Yeah,
your fastest guy has to be your spy. You don't have a choice.
He is a
so it's gonna have to be between Jones and
how many defenses in the NFL have someone on it as fast as Lamar Jackson?
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
many.
He is
Not
tough.
many, but I know a couple.
Maybe a hand, maybe
Spying-
2 or 3.
None.
Spying. Well, there's 32 teams in the NFL, so if you say 2, then my point still stands. It's all about with spying. It's not even so much. Yes, you need good sideline speed, but because you're already so deep beyond the line of scrimmage, it's all about angles. You got to know the angles to take. You have to take proper angles to attack Lamar. If you take the wrong angles, that's where you'll mess up.
And you got
I think
toast at that point.
And keeping him contained, because if you keep him contained, you limit where he can hurt you.
I'm talking about a spy. I'm talking about a spy.
Yeah, and he's talking about specifically too when he actually does get out of the pocket.
Yeah.
Like you got to be like that's why he's saying like Jalen Phillips and Javon Holland are some of the only guys that probably have the ability to actually catch up to him and keep him from like hitting the edge and breaking it big. That's the point.
But
you got to be a good tackler.
He can't get out and hit the edge.
No, I know, but I get that, but he's talking about after that
when
happens.
he does get out.
When he does.
No, he break containment.
Scenario that he does leave the pocket.
That's the thing. That speed is deadly.
Try hard 7. Defense has to hit Lamar when he scrambles and hit him hard, so he has second thoughts of doing it again. He's a fumble machine. That's why Javon Holland coming downhill on that motherfucker on an angle would light him, send him back to the future to Marty. He'd be sitting in a pop shop next to Marty McFly's dad, bro.
Yeah,
hey, man, he's gonna be asking for a chocolate milk.
Javon Holland is that dude right now, bro.
That was what I was gonna say too about one reason why he would be good for it is because he actually is a good hard-hitting tackler.
I'm just gonna hold on a sec. Let me pat myself on the back for Javon Holland there a little bit. Okay, thank you very much.
When he flipped that running back, I was like, man, he's gonna be something. When he flipped that running back,
bro, you know what he reminds me of? He's gonna be Ed Reed, bro.
Oh yeah,
I see a lot of Ed Reed.
Javon Holland, I'm starting to see Ed Reed, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
like people are not gonna.
I do too.
3 years from now, people are not gonna want to come across the middle with Javon Holland roaming.
You know what I like about it?
He's blowing up a lot of plays.
He has the instincts early on, and that's hard. You know, when it comes to drafting the safeties, they have the instincts to know, okay, it's a run play. Oh, the quarterback is barely in the pocket.
And he's smart enough for that. He just has to get used to the NFL game and what offenses are going to throw at him.
Like, look at how much responsibility. You know how much. Look at how much responsibility they put on his plate. And already in week 9, he's basically weeded Jason McCourty out of the offense, who's been in the league for over 10 years.
The only concern with a hard-hitting safety, and it goes for all of them, is durability. Just because, they get.
I don't think he's
He's never had injury issues at Oregon or anything.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about him specifically. It's just
prevalent.
Yeah,
I don't see him. I don't see him
as hard-hitting safeties in general because they tend to end up having and look, Rashad Jones is an example, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Shoulder injuries and shit tend to pop up at some point.
But you know what? That's what I was about to say. I don't think he's a Rashad Jones because he knows like Reason said the angles. He takes the angles a different way than Rashad Jones does.
Hey, Jax, do not remind me this because you could have Holland roaming in the box, but you can. Hey, if he falls to you this year or you pick high enough. I know everyone loves Brandon Jones, but we run a ton of Ruby anyways. Man, if you had Kyle Hamilton as your single high safety from Notre Dame and you had Holland as your box guy, your rover, oh my God, we'd have the best secondary tandem in the NFL.
Yeah,
we'd have the best secondary in the NFL.
They need to do something with this line, man. That's a tough to pass, but if a decent lineman is there, man, take it.
You see, the one thing Lamar Jackson has shown the ability to beat you.
If you're sitting at right now, they're at like 11 or 13 or whatever. Right now, the pick I would make is Tyler Linderbaum because Kyle Hamilton ain't going to be there. Kyle Hamilton is like top 3 player in the draft, arguably best player in the draft. Yeah. But Tyler Linderbaum is going to be there if you're at like 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I would rather take an awesome safety rather than a decent lineman.
Yeah,
that's where you know what I mean.
But if somehow a top lineman,
I'll take that elite lineman though.
I'll take the lineman.
He put pressure on the quarterback quicker. Yeah.
But if it's not a decent, if it's like a second round lineman, yeah, I'll take a safety.
Yeah.
And I thought you brought
Yeah,
up
the
an
linemen
interesting
hard to come
point
by.
with the Ruby thing. Reason is if they do that, and especially sending, even if they send one off the edge on one side, at least we don't have to overcommit to that side with the spy and say, okay, maybe we could put a spy on the other side, knowing that the blitz is coming off that other edge. You know what I'm saying?
And when you go back to the film breakdown, when we blitz Needham, and he lit up Tyrod. Look at how well he disguised that. Like, you didn't even know. Like, you got to be aware that might be coming, but we disguised that so well, he didn't know until the release happened that, oh crap, and it was over.
And he lit up somebody else. So I think last year it was a
Brandon Jones too. Like, Brandon Jones is number one among safeties and pressures, and Javon Holland right now is number 3 among safeties and pressures.
They just need to not be scared to do it because and you know, playing from behind is not even really.
It's not even about being scared. It's not about being scared. It's you got to have a game plan of what are you going to do in the second half when they adjust, because that's what happened in the Bills game.
They didn't adjust at all.
We were throwing disguise. We were blitzing, throwing the zero cover zero looks, and then what happened in the second half? They adjusted and they started moving the ball on us, and we had to go out of the cover zero packages because we couldn't hold containment out of them anymore, and we had to drop back into more zone and man looks because it just wasn't happening anymore. If you're gonna blitz heavy against a team, it's gonna come down to how are you gonna counter the adjustments they're gonna make when they start to adjust to what you're throwing. And we have not shown that we can adjust to teams that adjust to our covered zero packages and our disguise and our Ruby stuff.
Right.
That's what the problem
and that's definitely an issue. But what I was getting at is that because, like, you know, they have to be able to do it earlier on, especially because when you look at how the Dolphins have done offensively in the first quarter, we actually have a positive point margin, right? And we actually tend to have a lead a lot of times, or at least we have in the first quarter. So that's a good time to use it, right? Like, get a little bit of a lead and then start using it earlier on. So that way you can maybe, you know, freak them out, confuse them, get a turnover, and then put up some more points and build on that lead early on. And then, you know, obviously the adjustments have always been an issue, but
we did that against the Bills, though. Is what I'm saying.
But that was the first time, though. And
but what happened? We couldn't, and then we did it this past week.
Yeah,
we were just against a really inept offense. But the difference was when we were against a good offense that could make, and a good coaching staff who made adjustments at halftime, their adjustments
we
pulled us out of what we were being comfortable doing.
Yeah,
the thing is, you got to have. Here's the thing. Obviously, that's your plan A, right? You got to have a plan B for when they counter, and good, because good teams will always have a counter, but good defenses and good teams should always have a plan B to how to counter what's working, right?
And that's where
the chess match comes in, and that's where Boyer and Flores have not. I mean, you're right. They've only shown it against the Bills this year, but that was one good team, and they showed they couldn't counter the adjustment. So
because all the Bills did was, once we did that, the Bills started taking those inside slants and inside curls, and so we should have, as the defense,
they literally said, "Oh, here's the Dolphins' offense. Let's try that."
And that was the thing. If we had ran inside scheme where we gave inside leverage and forced the receivers outside on those zero blitzes, then they couldn't take that inside slant. But we didn't make those adjustments. We just kept letting them have those inside slants and those inside curls, and that's what killed us.
And let's be honest too, the offensive line didn't help either.
Sure. Well, I mean, we're terrible at making adjustments, but we're not.
I was just saying it was just.
But we're not talking about that right now.
We're talking about the fact that we couldn't adjust from outside leverage when they started taking the inside and saying, okay, if you're going to take those inside routes, we're going to play inside leverage and force you to go outside. And we just didn't do that. We just kept letting them do it.
And I said this during halftime. I said, when I was talking to Reason, I said, when you are making the other team's quarterback frustrated and literally losing his shit on the sideline, I want you need to take advantage of that, because when you're emotionally in that negative emotion, you tend to make mistakes.
Yeah, you're talking about Josh Allen, right? When he was
he was, bro. He was.
you did make that
Exactly.
I never
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
the
We
Good
backed
point.
off the pressure after that.
Yep.
We backed
Yeah.
off a little bit off the pressure when he was getting frustrated. It's like, bro, keep attacking him. Keep making him
Right.
mad. Keep making him frustrated.
It's because when what Pyro was talking about happened like right before the half, and then they came out at the half and they
And then
adjusted to us.
23
Yep.
points. They put up the
Yep.
23 points. Yeah, and the issues for or the reasons why we're unable to make adjustments is unfortunately many, right? And we've talked about them all before. Is the lack of veteran leadership, a young inexperienced
But you know, here's
team,
the thing.
and also bad coaching.
I get if you're facing a good defense and your offense doesn't know how to adjust because of where they're at. But isn't Brian Flores a defensive genius? I ain't trying to hear why the defense. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general. I ain't trying to hear that they can't make fucking adjustments when your bread and butter you sold us on were two things: defense and discipline. Okay,
And they actually were pretty solid at adjustments last year too.
Yeah,
but the players
at least
don't
they
make
got
the
the discipline
adjustments.
right
That's
last
on the
week, too.
coaches, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean,
now
No, that's why I'm
supposedly.
saying. That's why I'm saying. Like offensively, I know we're inept, so I can give them a pass. But defensively, that's supposed to be our bread and butter. I ain't trying to give no passes if you can't adjust. You know.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's that-
I don't
be
really
a
think
thing.
they shouldn't get a pass for any of it. I mean, this is year 3, if we're being honest. Like they've had 3 years to get this.
Yeah, but we're just talking
Yeah,
about
to
the
get the offense
right.
Yeah,
together.
but the offensive showed us they're inept. At least the
but I
defense.
I
agree.
know,
we
I
hope
know what
that-
the offense is right now. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, no, I
exactly.
I'm
agree
giving it a
that-
pass because I'm over it. I know what it is right now.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not gonna be good.
I get you. It's you know
the
in the
defense
here
still
and
has
now.
a ton of talent on it. Where
Yep.
I know you can do
And
things
it's supposed to
with
be
that
it's supposed to
defense.
be good with Brian Flores and everything. And I get that.
Should be
But
good. Look how much money you fucking spent on it.
yeah,
But
Yeah,
it's
we
not
got
only
about
that,
what?
it's also
Exactly.
the simplicity
Almost $100
of
million
it.
tied up in the secondary right now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we got one of the top paid secondaries and one of the top paid receiving corps.
Receiving
At least
corps.
our secondaries are earning some of that money.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah,
I
but
checked, X had a game clinching fumble. You know what I mean? And they had all the
Yeah.
takeaways. At least they're earning some of their money.
Yeah.
I'm still these wide receivers are
He's got
like
a third of our
this is
interceptions.
like a dude. This is like a group bank robbery going on right now. It's like
Oh man,
We're
they
actually
robbing us
first-
without a
living-
mask, man.
y'all are Miami fans. I'm living the movie Heat right now. Okay,
We're
'Cause these
actually-
guys are just
we
robbing
have
us.
there is a category that we're number 1 in the league in, and that's passes defense. We're all alone at the top of the league with 48 passes defense. So
Yay.
Mhm.
good job,
Yay.
secondary, for being phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I get that.
You get
but
an A
the-
plus
the
for
sim-
passes defense.
And you know what worries me, guys? I know Beasley's really good out of the slot, and we had problems with him, especially when we went to that zero blitz, right? Beasley started becoming his outlet when they started making their
Real quick
adjustments,
throws,
right?
Yeah.
Sammy Watkins can be that for them, and that worries me.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
now that I'm seeing he's a full participant,
Oh,
we all
yeah.
know Sammy, since he's been a Bill, he's one of those quietly good guys. He was just
Yep.
never the number 1 the Bills
Mhm.
wanted him to be. He's just a really good number 2 or number 3, right?
And he always gave us some
Yeah.
headaches,
Watch,
man. I
watch.
remember
Yeah, he always gave
Sorry,
us
I'm gonna
hell.
put it out there because y'all know he's my boy. Rashad Bateman, watch. Rashad Bateman gonna have his like first 100-yard game against.
Stop it. Don't
He
say it.
might-
Don't throw that
Yep.
out there. Don't throw
He
it out
might
there.
though,
He
because
threw it out
again,
there.
Dude, they're
That's-
gonna put up
it's the
700 yards on
simplicity
us,
that-
bro.
but it's
Yep.
frustrating that again, the simplicity of saying
We
again,
lucky
you
pad,
know,
bro.
you're like Reason said, you're the defensive genius, and you know, okay, if we're doing the same thing over and over again, and they see that, you have to switch it up. You can't keep doing the same things over and over and over, and
That's
that we just keep
insanity,
doing
man.
it.
I'm curious.
Yeah, we just
can I
keep
ask,
doing it, dude.
at what point does it become you are to you aren't with him? I'm just curious. Like, I've obviously never been huge on the Flores hiring to begin with, but like, just I'm curious what y'all think about when it's time to
Oh,
be
you're
like,
talking about
okay,
defensively.
yeah, with the genius title. I'm just curious.
Well, last year he lived up to it for sure. This year, the past 2
but is
games,
that
you've seen it
one
more.
year enough?
No, this you've seen it, but the thing is, what have we been complaining about for the first 7 weeks about defensively?
Yeah.
Why are you
Not having
getting
the same schemes and
yeah,
stuff.
and why are you dropping
the
back to
schemes.
zone when you built this defense to be? See, that's the
Man.
problem. You built this
No
defense to be
aggressiveness.
press man, that you
Right,
drop
no
into a
aggression.
bunch of these zone. Like you're not built like that. Why are you playing like that? And then they get back to the bread and butter, and all of a sudden we look way more competitive against the Bills. and the defense does what it should have done against the Houston Texans. It's just the offense didn't do their part, right? So
we deploy that in the first 7 games. We win about 4 games,
Well, hey, I will say this. If we deployed that against the Indianapolis Colts and the Vegas Raiders, you're winning one of those even with Jacoby Brissett.
So
even with him,
Let me ask another
that was only
question.
a 1-score game.
Let me ask
But I want to respond real quick, Dylan. I want to respond to that though. My thing is we talked. I said it a couple weeks ago. Is my biggest thing is how much of that is also now that Brian Flores doesn't have Belichick to make those adjustments, that year after year the league adjusts to what you did the year before. So now,
wait to my next question.
Yeah, well, now
but it looks like he but then if you're going from that angle, then
it.
Yeah, exactly. He outthought himself. He said, "Oh, they're going to adjust to me. Let's throw a new wrinkle, a new look," and then they sliced it up anyways. Because the thing is, here's the thing: what we were throwing at them last year compared to what we were showing them this year. Last year we were throwing algebra. This year we were throwing kindergarten level math, count to 10. You know what I mean?
And then ABCs and Sesame Street.
And then all of a sudden we throw the algebra back at them, and teams are scurrying against us.
And that's what I was saying I think that's Flo's fault is, again, you're trying to be too cute, trying to be too smart.
He passed the buck off. He said Boyer was calling the play.
Yeah, I know. Point the finger somewhere else.
Because that could be it. That could be it too. I'm not defending Flores because everyone knows how I feel about him. But he could have been way more hands-on last year. And then this year, because the offense where it's at, he could have
backed
back on the defense.
Yeah, because he wanted to pay attention to offense.
And put it more in Boyer's lap, and then was going to the shits. He stepped back in and said, okay.
I mean, Boyer's
we
also
got to go back to what we were doing.
Boyer's also from New England, though, right? Like, so he came over with him. But so the next question I have then is because I've, from my perspective of it, Brian Flores, that defense that we love, that's confusing, that
it's exotic
works. Yeah, the exotic stuff. That's really mostly like from Belichick, right? Like he didn't come up with that. So my next question,
it's actually Rex Ryan. You go back to Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan did the amoeba thing first.
So but not a Brian Flores original, right? So my question then is so does a person get the genius title based off of whether or not they created the schemes or their mastery in their employment of it?
That's it. The second one. The mastery of the schematic. And let's be honest, it really started, the whole genius thing was because of the Rams Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, it was in the Super Bowl.
If that never happened,
that was a high-powered offense. He blanked.
He's not our coach.
He pretty much blanked it. He's not the coach. He done blanked them in the Super Bowl.
I definitely think that has a lot to do with it. I don't know. I'm not so convinced that Brian Flores was the whole reason why. I mean, he was still in New England with Belichick and stuff.
Offensively, people seem to forget that they didn't have Gurley. He had the arthritis kicking in. They had that running back from Denver who was rolling for the first couple for the replacement for him. What the hell was the guy's name? Someone in the comments will put it. That running back who had that great run with the Rams that year, and then he fizzled out in that Super Bowl game. And let's be honest, I'm gonna say this: Tua Tagovailoa is better than Jared Goff, bro. Okay, like Jared Goff is not very good. Like he is.
That was easy to scheme against him.
They had CJ.
It was really easy to scheme against. Jared Goff.
CJ Anderson, the running back. Like I think that year, if they would have had Tua, Herbert, or Burrow, Rams would have probably won that game. And I just think that specifically Tua. I named 3 quarterbacks, so people can't say I'm a Tua homer. I named all 3 of those quarterbacks probably could have won the Super Bowl with that team. Yeah, bro.
And that's where
good.
And that same sentiment also gives me a little bit of hope in Tennessee later on this year. Adrian Peterson came out of nowhere, which he's nowhere near what he was in his prime. But I think that he had fresh legs coming in. But by the time we get around to him without them having Derrick Henry, I think that gives us a little bit more of a chance.
Oh, yeah.
But they do got a good offensive line.
Is Henry out for the year?
Yeah, he's out for the year.
I mean, there's
He's saying
debate.
he can
There's
make it by the
debate about it.
playoffs.
Yeah,
They
there's
say there's a
debate
chance for him
about
to
it.
make it to the
Okay,
into the
Yeah,
debate
playoffs.
because
about what? Are we seeing him or are we not?
well, the
No,
timetable.
About us seeing him, no.
not we aren't
But
seeing him. No,
right,
it's 3 to
their
4 months.
playoff
If they
opponent will
get
see him.
into, if they get
Well, I
if
mean,
they get into the playoffs, it's capable.
What's
Yeah,
his injury?
Chris works in the
it's his foot.
medical
It's the
stuff, so
it's the thing on
obviously
his
he's got
toe.
his professional perspectives. But what I've seen from it is it's a foot because it's the little bone that connects like your pinky toe to the actual foot, the big
It's
foot
called
bone
a
or whatever.
Jones fracture. It's
That
called a
one.
Jones fracture.
Yo, that's
That
I know.
It's very similar to a Liz Frank, but it's not a Liz Frank.
Yeah. And Liz Frank,
Yeah.
I know Liz Franks
takes a while.
can end careers too, bro. Because you
Yeah.
can't get that
but the
explosion
Jones,
first.
the Jones injury, it takes
for
3 to
sure.
4 months. It
Yeah,
takes
I
3
mean,
to 4 months.
The only reason why I say that, obviously, it's not professional at all. I've just the reporting I've seen is that it's 6 to 10 weeks is the timetable, the rough timetable. So I would think if he comes back, it probably wouldn't be until the playoffs. So we
we're
should
seeing
not.
him.
So we
So
should
that's
not.
whoever
see
made
him.
the
We're not
point.
seeing
Who made the point about Adrian Peterson?
I did.
Good point.
Jeez.
A good point. Let me write that
Yeah.
down for my keys of victory. Anyways, all right. I gotta wrap this up 'cause in
Peterson.
3
He
minutes.
didn't do much.
I gotta start recording the finish line with Richmond and ball game. So thank God there is not 13 of you tonight. Pyro. Quickly, final thoughts here, buddy. Before and again, guys, I'll be back tomorrow around like 7:45.
Burn it down.
I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I am not hopeful, so I don't
Give your
get
score
the-
prediction.
34-14.
Just
Ravens.
to a start.
I don't know because it's conflicting reports that he may or may not. So I'm just gonna go with he's not gonna start.
Okay.
So that's
Chris, your final thoughts, buddy. And does Tua start and your score? prediction?
No. Tua doesn't start. I think our training staff is crap. I've said it multiple times and I've explained why. And I think it's 31-17. I don't see with Brissett we're us scoring points. And yes, our defense will show up to a certain extent, but I don't think they're giving us a chance. Fins out.
JT, your final thoughts, score prediction, and does Tua start tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, if Tua starts, I think this will be his first elite game. He's gonna be super elite.
The belief is real. I love it.
So I'm a fan of two players, Lamar Jackson and Tua. So
so this is like a dream matchup if they play.
Yeah, these are my babies. I watched them. I watched Lamar through college because my mate got me into NFL just because of him.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched Tua in college after that. So I'm just a fan of both of them. But
So
yeah, my baby.
You want to see a good game, eh? So what's your score prediction?
I hope they draw.
A tie?
You want
I love it.
Yeah.
Andy uses the European football term of a draw, not even a tie.
draw.
I love it, buddy. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Where
go,
are you?
man.
Are you? You're Australian, obviously, right?
Nah, New Zealand.
New
Oh
Zealand.
wow! Shout out.
Close enough. Same
The
thing.
land of first light.
Yeah, I was on here earlier.
I was
Like
just
a while
thinking, I
ago.
was
You
just
kept
The
telling
land
me
of
off
first
for
light.
smoking weed
Yep.
up on me.
Oh yeah. I remember you now. All right,
So
that's all you had to say.
I've just been rolling up quiet
Okay.
as the time.
Dylan, your final
That's why you
thoughts,
kept the
your score
camera off.
prediction, and your Tua.
Yeah.
Your does Tua play tomorrow?
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me first off. Always nice coming up here. Yeah, so no, when it comes to Tua, no. I don't think they're gonna play him just because I saw like the last reports I saw is that they're preparing as if Jacoby's gonna play. So but I hope he does. And score prediction, yeah, I got a bad one. I went with 45-13.
I was literally gonna say 43-13. I was gonna guess your score before you said
Yo,
that.
wait till you hear
What,
mine.
Jason
It's close to
And,
mine, but
if
it's
they
not mine.
listen, if their running backs get going, not even just Lamar, if their running backs get going and Lamar's going, that's definitely realistic. Crypto, your final thoughts.
Yeah,
I know
I'm usually
I know you put your score prediction in the chat too. But
in the
go
chat.
ahead.
I did.
Say it again.
Yeah, Normally, it's the I'm a ball of optimism, but this one is it's the quite opposite as far as this game, because I don't think Tua is going to play because Flores kind of hinted at him not playing, saying it's going to be the same format as last week. He kind of hinted in that direction, so I believe it'll be Brisket, and we're going to go down in flames, 47-9. So that's pretty much it. Jason Sanders, a bunch 3 long field goals. That's as close as we get into the end zone.
That's funny.
That's-
3
that's-
His mentality.
That's tough.
That's
Love it. Love it.
But I was hoping Tua would play. Then I would.
What happened? Crypto, what
I
happened
would've
to all
changed
that
that score.
optimism, man?
It's pretty much been deflated, halfway deflated, not quite, but it's a week to week basis now.
All right, boys.
I'm almost in the
tomorrow-
hole, Pyro. I'm almost in
Tomorrow,
the hole.
guys, I'm going to be back at 7:45. We'll live react to this game, pregame, postgame for it, all that jazz. Then Friday night, I'm going to have a special midseason roundtable. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do my postgame show. But I'm going to have a midseason roundtable. Dougley's going to be here.
Can't
TD's going to be here. Ball game's going to
Should
be
be
here. And then I
interesting.
got a couple other people that I think I'm going to get over here.
Okay.
So
The midseason.
I appreciate all of y'all. Stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. Enjoy your Wednesday night. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully the shellacking isn't too bad. And if it is, don't worry. We got each other to get through it.
Thumbs up, smash
Thumbs
the
up
like
all
button.
day,
We'll
baby.
get through
Smash that like
it.
button.
All about the
Smash the
family,
like
man.
button.